Hello to anybody and everybody that is watching this. My name is DLimes13 and today I will be presenting a guide for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. I'll be running on the PC version, but this guide is applicable to PC and HD collection. You can do this for the most part on PS2 Sons of Liberty, but there are some minor differences which I won't get into in this video. But for the most part, this guide will work for those versions. This guide is intended for, like I said, normal difficulty, and the basis is you have played the game a little bit, you know the basic mechanics, how to control the characters, stuff like that. I'm not going to get into real elementary stuff with that. Maybe you ran the game before and you're looking to go to normal, or you're just running it for the first time. This guide is for you. There is another normal guide out there by my boy Pythonicus. It's a little old, which kind of inspired me to make this because some of the strats have been updated and we shaved quite a bit of time off of normal in recent months. And I figured that I would share my take on normal difficulty and see what I can offer with this guide. So, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that our menus are set to previous on the quick change. If you're on unequip, change it immediately. Break the habit. You don't want to play on unequip. It's going to screw up menus, waste a ton of time. You want to be on previous. You're going to need it for certain strats, and unequip is just a nightmare if you're speedrunning. It's fine for casual, not good for speedrunning. Then the other thing we're going to be sure of is we're going to be running on a New Game Plus or New Game Plus Plus save. We're going to be saving 2 minutes and 25 seconds. We'll be able to skip the Peter Stillman cutscene at the start of bomb disposal with that. So as long as you're on New Game or New Game Plus, which is 1 or 2 playthroughs, and you saved, then you'll be all set. So we will load our New Game Plus save here, and we will get into this. We'll do Tinker Plant, normal. Radar doesn't really matter for normal. I tend to keep it on in my run just because some people tend to keep them off. Again, it's more or less preference. Some people think it's distracting. I shut mine off if I'm going for big boss runs on Extreme, European Extreme. But for here, it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave mine on just for the guide. But you don't. You can do whatever you want with this. It doesn't save time or anything. So let's get into it. So we're going to mash X to skip cutscenes and double tap triangle once we get to codex. And you will see on the overlay that you'll be able to see my controller, what buttons I'm pressing, stuff like that. So the first section is we're going to be heading up to Olga, the first boss fight of the game. Pretty simple to start out. We're just going to run north here. And then there's 2 things you can do with this guard. One, you can wait for him to walk past so he's looking out at the water. Or you can let him see you, do a roll, and then he'll shoot you, which will cancel your animation of rolling, and then go to the door. The first option is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not really going to explain it. I'll do the second one. So roll, you get shot, go right to the door. So pretty simple there, pretty self-explanatory. This next guard, you just get by him. You can roll into him, you can just walk behind him, you can hold him up and walk behind him. Just as long as you don't get an alert going to the next room, it really doesn't matter how you handle this guard. We'll just hold him up, unequip, re-equip so we don't waste the bullet. And then one thing I'm going to do frequently is when I go and do load zones with stairs, I'm going to either roll or cartwheel depending on what character I'm using. So I'm going to roll up these set of stairs because it's going into a load zone. It's faster. When I come back down these stairs, I'm going to roll because it's faster. You don't want to do rolls just on staircases all the time. Cartwheels are fine going down. Going up, you don't want to cartwheel because you'll just fall flat on your butt or your face depending on what character you're on. But you definitely want to roll into load zones that involve stairs, like this. Now this camera is a little tricky on normal. You can do a couple things here. You can roll at a certain point and hope you miss the camera. You can shimmy across the wall and just go under the camera completely and avoid it. The other thing you can do is if you do the roll and you miss, you take the alert going upstairs, which is not that bad, which I'll demonstrate that. So I will go for just the shimmy across the wall strat here. So get close, unequip, re-equip like this so you can shimmy across the wall quicker, and then just go upstairs. The other strat is rolling. You're going to roll at the start of this rail, and you're going to be up against the wall. So I'm going to try to do it right here. So this is going to be an example of when you get the alert. So you kind of just take a shot, kind of wait, and then roll, and then just get up there. So you want to do everything you can to just not get knocked down when you're heading up here. But that would be worst case scenario if you miss your roll. Alright, so here's what it looks like if you get the roll successfully past the camera. Roll up the stairs, and that's it. Deck D is pretty simple. Skip the cutscene here. Run past the camera, you'll get the alert. Roll up the stairs, and you're done. Mash through some cutscenes, a codec, and then we're coming up to our first boss fight, which is Olga. Now, Olga can go one of two ways. She can go either left or right. Right, she technically goes south, but we call it right Olga. Okay, so this one is a right Olga, or south Olga, if you will. She's heading south towards me. So this is the Olga that cannot be looped. You're going to have to do things a little bit differently. It is about 8 to 10 seconds slower. Wouldn't recommend resetting over this unless you're going for insane times, but you're basically going to head south towards the ammo box, and then you're going to wait for her to fire her gun at you, and then do some headshots, which I'll demonstrate here. We're going to set up our gun here, because her head will be right here. Duck, under cover, shoot her in the head once, shift your gun over a little bit, shoot her in the head again, and then the cutscene's going to play.
I've been with the unit since I was born. I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents.
Get a third headshot here, and then she'll either come forward to the box or go back to the tarp like that, and then we finish her off there, and that's for right side Olga. So that's 8 to 10 seconds slower, depending on if she comes forward or goes back to the tarp on the final shot. But definitely not worth resetting over, in my opinion. Alright, so here we have a left side Olga. You can see her feet in the northeast corner of the screen, or northeast corner of the ship, rather. If she's heading left towards the light, then you know it's a left side Olga, and then you can get set up for a potential loop where we can loop her and just do 4 consecutive headshots, and then she doesn't say a word. It saves like 8 to 10 seconds, but it's somewhat hard to get the setup correct on normal just because of her vision, how far she can see, stuff like that. She has to notice you in order to have the loop, in order for the loop to have a better success rate. So we're going to head south, grab the ammo box, wait for her to notice us here. She's going to fire at us. When she gets to this box, we're going to head into our position, fire a headshot here, and then when we see the exclamation, and she turns her head, fire again, rinse, repeat. And in 4 headshots, she is done. And that's a left side Olga. That's ideally what you want. And here, just get through another codec, and then we're going to go down to the bottom of the ship for the next section. Now here, I'm going to do a roll because I'm going to be rolling into a cutscene. And here, I'm going to equip my USP. This is one area where it's important that you have previous on, so that way you can switch between your M9 and your USP. You'll need it for ladder glitch, you'll need it for guard rush, you'll need it for all kinds of stuff in tanker and throughout the game. So roll, open the menu, switch to USP, and go on your way. Here we're just going to pick up this ammo and just get out of this deck. Now, there's a couple things you can do here. You can hold up the guard and then shoot the camera out and then go on your way, which is what most people do. Or you can do a roll past the camera, hope you don't get the alert, and go on your way that way. It saves a couple seconds, but it is very risky. You will likely get an alert. Sometimes I go for this, sometimes I don't. It's not usually recommended. But I'll recommend the first strat first, where we just hold the guard up and shoot out the camera. We're going to hold the guard up, shoot out the camera, run past him, and that's it. You don't need to roll or do anything special. Now, the last strategy I'm going to demo here is when you actually get the alert, when you do this risky roll. So if you get the alert, it's not that big of a deal. Roll into this guard. There'll be a cutscene normally plays here, but since you're on evasion or alert, it won't play. This guard will shoot. Roll here. Let him shoot you again so you don't get kicked. Hang over the rail. Roll down. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to equip our camera. Equip the camera. Unequip. Head into the engine room. So all in all, not that big of a deal if you get the alert. You lose maybe a second. The most important thing is you just don't want to get kicked on that final deck right there before you enter engine room. Now for deck B, we're going to shoot a distraction shot right here. Bump into this guard. And be on our way. That way he doesn't interfere with us when we come to him. He doesn't shoot us or anything. Mash X to skip the cutscene. And then this guard, you just walk past him. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to shoot him, do anything. Just walk past him. Go over this rail, hang down, do a cartwheel here, equip our camera for later, unequip, and we're into the engine room. Engine room is pretty straightforward. It's a little more complicated on the higher difficulties. We're just going to roll into this cutscene. Go down. Right where Snake's head is, at that line, is where you want to hang over the rail. Drop down, make sure you're on your M9. And then we're going to shoot this guard and cartwheel into him. If you cartwheel into a guard, or roll into a guard rather, either or, and shoot him with a trank, no matter what difficulty you're on, he'll get knocked out immediately. Very easy, it's one-shot trank, but on every other difficulty, it takes time if you don't hit him in the head. But if you roll or cartwheel into him as you trank him, then he'll just be knocked out immediately.
What was that just now?
And here we're just going to run. Nothing fancy, nothing really to do here. And you may notice me from time to time holding L1 for no real reason. I tend to do that from time to time. Just if I had L1 on from a previous strategy, I just don't let go. So disregard some of the L1 button pressing that I do. It's not really necessary. Roll up these stairs. You can trank this guard and then fire distraction shot, or you can just fire the distraction shot once you get in here. We trank him just because it's a strategy we do on European Extreme, so he gets knocked out, but you don't have to get him knocked out. When you get to here, though, you want to fire your USP because you're going to skip a little mini cutscene because it's going to go into the in-between alert and normal mode, if you will. So it saves about a second if you just fire your USP as you're running and gunning. Shoot these 3 sensors out. And be on our way. You'll want M9 equipped for this next room. And then we're just going to hold up on the D-pad the whole time until we get to the guard.
All non-essential personnel report to the holds in 10 minutes' time for the scheduled briefing session with the Commandant. You are ordered to continue manning your posts until that time.
When he says time, you're going to want to have your M9 locked on and pointed at the guard, and then you're going to do 2 consecutive trank shots, and then roll once he is falling to the floor. Because if you don't roll, the animation to walk over a guard is very, very slow. If you roll, it just kind of cancels that out, if you will. 1, 2, roll, and just do it like that. We're going to do a punch buffer here. That way this guard doesn't see us. And then we're just going to go on our way to guard rush here in a moment. That ammo is very important. It's right next to the door. It's free. Make sure you pick that up for this fight. Switch to your USP. And then we'll be coming up on guard rush. I roll into this cutscene, if you will, since it's a little bit quicker. It's just triggering into a cutscene, so roll into it to be a tad bit quicker. I'll explain a little bit about guard rush right now. It's going to consist of 8 total guards for normal, 5 in the first wave, 3 in the last wave. The ideal method to this fight is to use the USP, and basically kind of spam your bullets for the most part because it's 3 shots to kill them, but you kind of want to aim some headshots. The first guard you just want to spam and kill. The next guard is the most important guard, is the guard behind the box all the way in the back. You want to hit him second in the head. If you don't hit him in the head, it's going to be a slower guard rush. And then you address the other 3 guards. So I will demo that right now. Alright, so we're going to spam and kill this first guard. Kill the second guard in the back. Kill this guard, just spam. Kill this 4th guard, spam. 5th guard is here. He can sometimes come out. And in here, we're just going to do 3 headshots in succession. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. And that's guard rush in a nutshell. Now, the beginning of the holds. This is where ladder glitch would come into play. I'm not going to get real in depth on ladder glitch because there's videos out there to demonstrate ladder glitch. I'll show what you do if you don't want to do ladder glitch. It loses about 12 seconds if you don't. And then I'll show doing ladder glitch. So the first strategy is no ladder glitch. Drop down with this rail, catch this rail, and then just go down this ladder. So pretty self-explanatory from here. And like I said, it loses about 12 seconds if you don't do ladder glitch, but just starting out, it's really not that big of a deal. Now, ladder glitch involves a series of inputs, and remember how we equipped that camera earlier when we were getting ready to go into the engine room? Well, this is where it's going to come into play. The basic explanation for ladder glitch is you're going to do a punch kick buffer. You're going to press L2 to equip the camera, and then immediately press triangle to get on the ladder. Once on the ladder, you're going to hold left. When the camera changes, you're going to press X, up, and then spam triangle. You want your gap between holding left and X to be quarter, half second. You don't want to do it in succession, like bam, bam, right away. That's how most people mess up ladder glitch. So I'll demonstrate it here. Pay attention to the button output on the right side of your screen. And I'll do this twice just to clarify. Punch, kick, equip, get on the ladder. And that's ladder glitch. So I'll do that one more time. So punch, kick, equip the camera, get on the ladder. Left X, up triangle. There's a small delay between you holding left and then pressing X. You just want a small delay there. Everything else can be in succession, but you want that small delay between those 2 inputs, otherwise you will mess up. This next part's pretty self-explanatory. You want to be in between these 2 lines here, so you can get past this projector without being seen. So this is basically your guideline. So do this, and then at this line right here, we're going to head south. Then just roll here so you don't make noise. Roll again so you don't make noise with the floor. And then we like to roll into this door because it's a little bit quicker than just running towards the door. Do whatever you're comfortable with. It saves like 0.2 of a second if you roll. Hold our roll so we go prone, and that's it. Hold 2 can be a little bit tricky. You're going to be holding up 3 guards in a very precise manner. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the projector and switch the direction so we can do that. So head this way. Press triangle to switch the projector. And then I like to have my M9 on for this to start with. That way I end on my M9. So we're going to hold L1, hold up a guard, switch our weapon so it resets the hold up animation, hold up a second guard, reset it again at the third guard, and then that's it. Some people like to shoot the M9 and then reload to do your hold ups. However you can hold up guards on the run is what I would advise to do. I'll demo how I do it right here. So hold up 1, hold up 2, hold up 3, and then you can shoot this M9 since we're on the PC and there's no pressure sensitivity. That's why I like to be on the M9 at the end. That way I can shoot and not have the USB go off. So once we do that, we just go on our way. And once we get to this little corridor, we're going to do a roll and try to equip our camera. If we do that, then we'll have the camera already on and active once the cutscene is over. Now, there's a couple ways you can do photos here. You can do what's called a 2-spot photo and a 3-spot photo. 2-spot is basically getting 4 pictures in 2 spots because of the weird hitboxes for the pictures in this game. It's a little precise, a little tricky. 3-spot is pretty free. It just involves a weird spot for the Marines lettering. I'll demonstrate 2-spot first, and then I'll do 3-spot. First picture is going to be right here. My visual cue is the part of the railing that's supporting the top rail. Right where the word paused is, right at the S, that little yellow dash. I line it up with that part of the rail and take the picture. And then this one's just a traditional photo. And then we're going to stand here at the corner of this box. We're going to take our picture here and just about center the double circle where or whatever that is in the middle right there. Take this picture and then go to about right here, the gap between rays, and take your last picture. Now for 3-spot, it's pretty simple. You just do your traditional picture here, normal front picture, and then this is usually what most people use as an indicator to get the Marines lettering. You can be anywhere from here to about here to get the Marines lettering. So depending on how you're coming over, you can go right here and get the Marines lettering. So right there is the Marines lettering, the hitbox for it, this little circle right there. As long as you're in this circle, it'll register as the Marines lettering. But you can't be up here and get the picture like this, obviously, because it's blocked. And if you're like right here, it just won't register. You have to be in this vicinity for the Marines lettering to register. And then once you get the Marines lettering, just flick up a little bit, get the traditional picture, and be on your way. And that's the tanker. So now that we're done with tanker, we're going to be moving on to plant. We're going to be playing as Raiden. There, I just mashed triangle because it's a little quicker than mashing X. Be careful not to save. And then just keep mashing X. So the starter plant going to the starter bomb disposal, there's really not much to do here. So I'm just going to explain some things as I go and just play the game as I normally would. Open the door, skip the cutscene, skip a codec. And again, if I I tend to inadvertently press L1 or hold L1 as I go along for some reason. It's just my controller grip. So ignore that unless I specifically say that you need to hold or press L1. Do a cartwheel here, do a cartwheel over these guards, press triangle to node. You'll press X at your name, and then you'll just press down. And then I just press circle a bunch here to get out. Hold select when you come out of that. You'll answer the call quicker. Now, you can do this room a million different ways. I'm just going to show one way. The objective is just to get on the elevator without having an alert. The rest of it really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and grab this ration that's over here. And then I'm going to stand right here. Let this guard notice me.
Enemy fire! Secure the perimeter! Stay on the lookout. Who's there?
And let this guard notice me.
Is there somebody there?
And then just head towards the elevator. Pretty simple. Press X to skip that cutscene, head into the elevator, and that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple room, nothing really to it. We're going to cartwheel to go prone here. Go under that. Press select to answer the call. The line or the invisible wall to answer the call is right here. So if you're right here and press select, you'll nearly frame perfect or frame perfect answer the codec call. And then just go on our way. One cartwheel down the stairs, start another, and then it's going to stop you because another cutscene is going to play. You want to be cartwheeling as much as you can in the plant. It's faster than just running. But you want to be careful not to cartwheel into walls or accidentally go prone, stuff like that, because you can lose time. You want to cartwheel on straightaways or into guards if it's necessary. Cartwheel over these noisy floors. Cartwheel into this guard. And then just go into Strut B. Cartwheel into the cutscene where we meet Pliskin. And that's it. Do one cartwheel here. This cartwheel can be a little tricky getting out the door. You're basically just going to go at an angle, try to cartwheel towards the door, and press select mid-cartwheel to answer a call. I mash circle here until I get the save prompt, and then I press triangle. Again, more stuff to skip. There's so much stuff to skip in this game. Now, the BC connecting bridge, you're going to want to pick up these chaff grenades that are right here. It's going to be very important for 2 rooms coming up in bomb disposal. Now, I'll explain this real quick because some people get this a lot. When the camera changes and you try to do a cartwheel, sometimes what will happen is like a seam crouch, if you will, or you'll go prone because when you try to do a cartwheel because the camera changes. Like it's kind of hard to try to replicate it when you're explaining it, but what I try to do when I know the camera is going to change, I wait to do my cartwheel until the camera actually changes. That way I don't go prone and screw up my cartwheel. There's something to keep in mind for certain areas. If you know a camera change is coming up, then wait until the camera actually changes, then do your cartwheel. Now, there's two ways you can do bomb disposal. You can go clockwise or you can go counterclockwise. There's another guide that if you want to see the counterclockwise route, go and view that. I can show people to that. I'll probably link it as well. But for this guide, I'm going to show the clockwise route. This is one of the main reasons why I want to make my own guide, because it's not really demonstrated. It's about 25 seconds faster if you do it this way. It does involve not picking up the M9. So it is a little more challenging, but it does reap its benefits. So go this way and head out to the CD connecting bridge. Here we're going to do some menus. Socom, coolant. And then you can check your menus mid cartwheel to see if you're on the right items. And then we're going to do Strut D. If you get spotted by that camera, just get in the door before the alert. Not a big deal. So Strut D. Strut D, we're going to carry an alert starting here for a couple of rooms. We do this on very easy and normal. Very easy, the alerts don't carry, so it doesn't matter. Normal, it's just kind of funny because we're using alerts and whatnot to our advantage. So basically what we're going to do is at the little mini stairs coming up, we're going to shoot a warning shot. And then I'll explain the rest as I go. Cartwheel, warning shot, cartwheel again, go down right here, open this hatch, crouch, and defuse the bomb. If you crouch and defuse the bomb right here, it's faster than just standing up and defusing the bomb. There are places where you can get a faster bomb, but not all bombs can be fast bombs. And again, just continue to cartwheel because it's faster. If you end up cartwheeling as you get shot, it'll cancel out Raiden's animation, and it's a little bit quicker than just getting shot while on foot. Now, this I'm going to explain beforehand because there's not much time in between to explain while I'm going. So on the bottom part of the bridge, we're going to do one cartwheel. At the bottom of the staircase, we're going to shoot a warning shot. The attack team guard is going to notice us. And then once we get to the top of the stairs, the regular guard that's going to be to our right, we're going to shoot him once, and then we're going to cartwheel into him. So one cartwheel. Shoot a shot there. Get shot here. Shoot him. And then you can either roll or cartwheel past him like that, or you cartwheel into him. Either or works. And you may get shot a second time like that. Not a big deal. Here we're just going to run past everybody and everything. Run up the stairs. And then we do all that because the alert goes away here. Because a cutscene is about to come. So here I use D-pad. I start cartwheeling here. Now here's when I menu to the chaff because we're going to need it for Strut F. Just do it. You have to do it after the cutscene, otherwise your menus won't hold. So between now and before you get into Strut F, you want to be on coolant and chaff. So I tend to do it here. You can do it anytime between now and Strut F. Cartwheel, and then at that line, we cartwheel, go prone, get this bomb, press X, and then unequip the coolant. What we do, that's called a coolant rise. It's faster than just pressing X and getting up from having the coolant. So if you press X and then equip to something else immediately, it just cancels Raiden's animation. Cartwheel, 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 and more cartwheels. And coolant rise I'll explain a little further once we get to Strut A because it's really going to come into play there. Cartwheel down these stairs because it's faster than just running down the stairs. Notice how I'm cartwheeling at every straightaway that I can because it's faster. Cartwheel there so you can cartwheel into this codec. And then I go this way to avoid the mines. I tend to hold down left there. That way I'm kind of like hugging the wall and then I'm not in danger of bouncing off the wall and hitting the mine that's right there when you get off the wall. So now Strut F. As soon as you enter Strut F, you're going to want to throw your chaff. Run past that guard, come down here at the rail, and defuse this bomb. You're going to get shot, which is not a big deal. And then just get out of the room. You're going to throw your next chaff immediately here. And then we're going to menu to our coolant, and then our Socom again. Just walk past this guard. If you don't bump into him, otherwise you'll get shot or kicked. Run past him, and then that's pretty much it. Guard can't call him for backup. Cypher can't spot you. So Strut A can be a little interesting. This particular guard is what we call a lottery guard. You hold him up and cartwheel into him. One of two things can happen. You can either get a caution, or you cannot get a caution. And there are strategies for both options. So we won't know what we have until we're almost done defusing the bomb. So here we're going to do a coolant rise. We're going to equip to the coolant, press X, and equip back again. Then we're going to do the same thing here. And then we can defuse this bomb from back here because we did that. And then we're also standing right here. If you're standing farther back or too close, then you can't defuse the bomb. Again, another coolant rise. You want to hold down right here. That way you could potentially move a little quicker. And this guard hasn't called in the caution, so we got the faster strategy for getting out of this room. I will demo the caution strategy after I demo this part of the run. Cartwheel into him, because if you don't cartwheel into him, he'll call in the caution after he notices you and comes out of his holdup. So it's very important that you cartwheel into him if he doesn't end up calling the caution in. And then just basically, depending on how fast or slow you are with this room, that particular guard is going to be in a weird location. So if you need to go around, if you need to shoot him, then cartwheel into him like I just did. Just do whatever you can to not get an alert out of him and not get kicked by him or shot. You're going to hold select here. Now, one other thing I'll note that goes back to the previous room. If you're under caution, this codec gets deferred until the BC connecting bridge. So if you end up getting a caution, don't hold select as you're entering the AB bridge. You're going to hold select as you enter the BC bridge. If you're entering this room under normal circumstances, you'll hold select as you enter the AB bridge. We're going to shoot a warning shot as soon as we get outside. Cartwheel into this guard. And then just be on our way. As long as you have good movement, you won't get an alert. Now, Strut B, we're going to take an alert here intentionally, and then we're going to kill one guard. So we're going to run and gun this guard. Close the locker. Press X to skip the cutscene, and then defuse this bomb. And then we're just going to beeline it for the door as soon as this codec ends. And the reason why we want this is because the cipher on the BC bridge is going to be facing a totally different way. It's like facing south, so it doesn't notice you or see you or anything. And then we're back to Strut C where we started. Here's what it looks like if you get the caution.
There's somebody there. enemy on board! All units, be on alert!
Understood. Sending reinforcements to the first floor, Strut A. Boost up security.
And again, depending on how fast you are, this guard could be in a different position. We'll just cartwheel into him. Don't hold select since you're under caution. Don't do the distraction shot since you're under caution. We're going to go up here, roll, roll, and then we're going to bump into this guard. Very important that you bump into the guard. That way the alert doesn't get called in. Here's going to be very similar to what you would do normally. We're just going to kill this guard.
Send backup. I have an unknown target here.
And then everything from here on is pretty much business as usual. Exit the room. And then it's like normally. But you get the call there instead. You have to hold select as soon as you enter the BC connecting bridge when you get the caution. Any alert you get would just go away as soon as you enter Strut C. So that's bomb disposal. So we're going to grab sensor B here. And then we're going to defuse this final bomb. You can stand pretty far away to get to this bomb, but you can't... It's not worth it to get real close to try to get a fast bomb. You're better off standing far away and saving time that way. So we're going to take out this cipher. So we're going to run and gun 3 shots. And then just cartwheel. Now here you can do, once we get into this room, you can do a couple of things. You can wait to cartwheel at a certain point and then you don't make any noise on the floor and head south. You can go into the room and meet the guard at the door and then cartwheel into him that way. It's 1 second slower if you take the safer method, but there is a visual cue for doing the faster method. I will demo both of those methods right now. So this is going to be the faster method. Notice the text on the screen, Strut B transformer room. As soon as that text disappears from the screen totally, you're going to do your cartwheel. Cartwheel into this guard. And then just leave the room. The other method is to go into this room. Cartwheel into him. And then just leave the room without bumping into the wall. AB bridge, you're going to go south. This guard's going to spot you. You can either knock him off the bridge like that, or you can just straight up cartwheel into him. It doesn't matter for normal. And then just cartwheel away.
What's going on? Respond.
Cartwheel here, head up the stairs, and then we're going to get on the elevator. Once we get onto the roof. Hold select, that way you answer the codec call on first frame. And then we're coming up on defusing our final bomb. Now, this can get a little tricky. You can either go to like this area, crouch, and then defuse the bomb, and not risk going on the water. What I tend to do, and that's what it looks like if you go in the water. It loses a ton of time, like 5-6 seconds or so. So that's what you don't want to have happen. What I like to do is try to switch the D-pad when I get to about right here. Hug this rail. You could crouch here if you want it, but you don't have to because you're right in line with the bomb. You can just equip the coolant and just defuse the bomb without even crouching. Not crouching is one less input, saves a touch of time. Unequip, head that way. However you can defuse that bomb, that's totally up to you. Cartwheel, and then we're going to cartwheel and press select because there'll be a codec call coming in. You can press select too soon and the codec wouldn't come in yet, but right about here is when the codec's going to come in. You're going to want to be mid cartwheel and then press select to get that early codec call. So, fortune fight coming up. As soon as the fight starts, you're going to press right on your D-pad. You're going to do 3 punches. Punch, punch, punch. Face forward and crouch. This is to set up a faster fortune fight. I mean, you're not really fighting her. You're just, it's more or less an auto-scroller. But she has to do a series of shots, a number of shots, shoot barrels, shoot lights in order for the fight to progress. So I will demo this now, and I'm going to equip the ration for safety. This is why we equipped the ration, or that's why we got the ration earlier in the docks, in case we are low on life, because we will be taking a hit. Punch, 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 face forward, crouch. And then we're going to let her shoot us. Once she shoots us, she's going to shoot the lights out. We're going to head over here and just kind of hide, duck out. You can go prone. You can kind of move around or something. Just kind of wait it out. She'll shoot a series of shots. When her shots get slower, that's when I'll get up. Right here. And then on this final shot, I'm going to cartwheel over to the Socom. I'm going to crouch and try to get her to shoot this barrel. Grab this Socom. And then head back to your corner and just kind of hide. Some people go and shoot another barrel that's over there. It's inconsistent whether it's faster. So I just kind of hide out and just kind of move around in this area. After you get the setup down, there's not that much to do. Once she starts doing her final shots and she says Earth or whatever she says right there, you're going to want to equip your coolant. It'll set up your menus for post-fortune fight. That way Socom is on your previous, because you'll need it for later on. Answer the codec call as soon as it comes in. And that's the fortune fight. Now, as I previously stated, this route is intended to not pick up the M9. I'll show you how to pick it up in case you want to pick it up, but I'm not going to be using the M9 at all in this run. So it's faster if you don't pick up the M9. It's faster if you do M9-less strats. I'll show you how to pick it up in case you want to pick it up, but if you want to do the fastest stuff, I don't advise picking it up. One note for this roof, there are Claymore mines right here. There's going to be a Claymore mine right around those chaff grenades, which you do need, by the way. Now, you can get hit by the mine. It's not a big deal. You can try to evade the mines. I wouldn't advise crawling to the chaff grenade to get the mine because that's slower. You might as well just get hit. So, that's ideally what you want to do. You want to do a little quick maneuver like that, pick up the mines, hug the wall like this, and be on your way. Equip your Socom as you cartwheel. We're going to do a distraction shot, cartwheel into the guard, and be on our way. At some point, we're going to need to equip the coolant back for the EF bridge. I tend to do it here. And if you want to pick up the M9, it's critical you do this as well. So I'm going to show you how to pick up the M9. I'm going to leave the room and reset and then show you how you do it if you don't want the M9. So this is how you pick up the M9 if you want it. Equip your coolant. Spray that guard. Pick up your M9.
I'm under attack.
Roll into him. Cartwheel.
I'm under attack. Stay alert.
And then just leave the room before a caution happens. This is what it looks like if you don't pick up the M9. Same thing, you're going to coolant. You're going to cartwheel into him. Cartwheel. Hold up this guard. Then just get out of the room.
Stay alert.
Now, here, we're going to be picking up the Claymore mine. This is why we equipped the coolant earlier, and you need the coolant for right before Fatman anyway, but we're going to be using this Claymore in the Fatman fight. It reduces the amount of cycles we're going to be doing on Fatman from 4 to 3. It's a faster fight if you pick up this Claymore, and this is if you're doing Socom strats, which this is what I'm demoing in this tutorial, is the fastest strats. So right at this double line right here, I call this a double line. It's still a line, but it kind of has, it looks raised, if you will, and it has extra lines like right here. So we're going to roll at this line, go prone, and then pick up the Claymore mine. Get rid of him just so he's not interfering. Go prone, pick up the mine, do a coolant rise, and be on our way. And we're going to use that Claymore on Fatman. Make the fight faster. It's about 5 to 10 seconds faster depending on the cycle you get. Not much to do here, just head up to the heliport. Now, we're going to defuse this bomb. We'll switch back to the coolant, and then we're going to switch to our Claymore. You don't have to do this. You can switch to the Claymore when the fight starts, but I like to be on the Claymore beforehand. Defuse the bomb. Switch to our Claymore. Get back to the Socom. And then the fight's going to start. So we're going to head right, equip the Claymore, lay the Claymore center, get a headshot off, defuse the bomb, get one more headshot off, and then start chasing him. Headshot, headshot. Headshot, headshot. And that's the fight. So that saves an entire cycle of when you have to knock him down by using that Claymore to deal some damage early. So equip to our coolant, then go to none. Pick him up ever so slightly. Spray the bomb. Cartwheel and press select. And that'll do it for Fatman and all the bombs. So the next section is going to be going to Ames. Shell 1 core. Pretty straightforward with that. There's not a lot of variations except for B2 in the computer room, which we'll get to when I get there. Do a cartwheel, menu to your BDU, and that's all you need. One other thing I haven't pointed out yet is we don't pick up the cardboard box at all. You don't need it on very easy, normal, or hard. I think it's more or less of a waste of time. It's okay if you're starting out as a beginner, but all in all, you really don't need it. So I highly recommend not picking up the box. And because we pick up that Claymore, it's going to offer us a better line, so we can just do that instead of going around the pillars. Come down here, and we're going to go get the AK. Now, this next little part is optional. Some people pick up the stun grenades that are right outside this room. Some people don't. I pick up the stun grenades for Tengu 1 on normal. You can use just AK on normal, but ammo could become a concern and the amount of times you get shot. So I recommend picking up these stun grenades that are right here, unless you happen to pick up stun grenades, say during the Fatman fight for some reason. Menu to your AK, pick up the stun grenades, leave the room.
Nothing here.
And again, since we picked up this Claymore mine, it's going to offer us a slightly better line here. Just hold up left. You'll avoid the rest of the mines that are right there. Do a bunch of cartwheels. And now we're going into Shell 1 core. Hold select to answer the codec call. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple things you can do. You can run past this guard and not trigger a caution. You can cartwheel into the guard and then trigger a caution. I will demonstrate both. So this will be the no caution method. And a handy note for elevators, just press up. Press up once and you'll always be on the floor you want to be on. So for no caution, we're going to go this way and do a series of cartwheels just like this. Cartwheel here. You can do a cartwheel here in this room. It is a little risky, but I tend to do it. Cartwheel here, and as he does his Running Man cutscene, you should be cartwheeling during the cutscene. Press X to skip it again. Run up the stairs, get on the elevator, and that's basically what it looks like without a caution. Here's what it looks like if you do get a caution. Roll into this guard. He'll call in for a caution. We're going to go the same way as a non-caution. Cartwheel here. But this cartwheel can be a little tricky. You want to be at the edge right where I'm about to cartwheel. Otherwise, this attack team guard is going to notice you. Cartwheel. 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 The advantage to having a caution is that the Running Man cutscene with one of the guards doesn't play at all. And you got to be careful of that guard because you could bump into him if you are too fast like that. When you get to this part, you don't want to do a third cartwheel as you're exiting because the guards over to your left will notice you. And you have to, if they notice you, even though you're in the BDU and have the AK equipped, they're going to like inspect you and be suspicious of you. And you're going to have to wait, otherwise you get an alert. So just run past, head up the stairs, then just get on the elevator and be done with it. Now for here, there's a specific setup. We're going to come to right here. And then we're going to knock right here. I'll reset the room, that way I can do it properly. But you're going to want to do your knock in between these two lines. So right here, in between these two lines, you're going to want to do your knock. So we're going to knock between the two lines that I showed you a moment ago. Come flat here, do 2 punches. Look at a 45-degree angle this way. Grab the guard, and it's an instant grab to the retinal scanner. You don't have to drag him over or do anything fancy if you do the setup just like that. Hold select. Now, since we're on New Game or New Game Plus, where Ames is going to be randomized. New Game is one consistent spot, but like I said earlier, you want to be on New Game or New Game Plus or Plus Plus, so you can skip that Stillman cutscene. So Ames will be randomized here. For normal, it really doesn't matter where he is. You just find him, whip out the D-mic and get his attention. On higher difficulties, if he's in a certain spot, you have to do other things so you don't get spotted, but here it's not a concern. So this is usually the path I go to search for him. And he happens to be in the worst area possible, so we'll crouch, equip the D-mic, and then that's it. So that's one of the worst aims you can get. He can be virtually anywhere in the room. Mash through these cutscenes. Another codec coming up. Equip the AK. Just keep tapping R2 until it lets you. Skip this. Now, Shell 1 exit. this can be a very weird, dangerous situation. There's two ways you can do this. You can do a risky exit or you can do a somewhat safer exit. I will demonstrate both, starting with the risky exit. Alright, so we're going to go to the elevator panel. We'll have iframes since we're trying to interact with the elevator. When the door opens, kill this guard, and then get on the first floor button, get out of there before the alert happens. Cartwheel out, equip to our Socom. Hug this wall so we don't get spotted by the camera. Come to this wall, hold up this guard. Cartwheel into that attack team guard, and ideally you would exit. Now, this is a backup to if you miss that cartwheel. You're going to want to equip your AK because you're going to have to take out ciphers.
Intruder, stand back up if possible.
So you take out 2 ciphers. You're going to kill this guard. Hug the wall like this. Don't do any cartwheels. Grab your PSG-1. And then just leave. You'll get spotted here, which isn't a big deal. Might get shot a couple times. You can kill him or just cartwheel into him, whichever you prefer. Kill this guard. And then this guard can be tricky. You just want to get past him without getting kicked. Shoot him, kill him, or cartwheel into him, either or. And then you're at Harrier. Basically, that's the backup in case you do the risky shell 1 exit and you miss the attack team guard. It's not the end of the world. You'll lose a few seconds, but it's not worth resetting for. And it's definitely not worth taking a continue for, in my opinion. So this will be the risky strat this time. This way, now it's going to be done proper. Even if you get a fast elevator like that, you still need to kill that guard. Many door Socom. Hug this wall. Hold up this guard. And then get out before the alert happens. Then you won't have ciphers to deal with. You just go along your way. Take this line since you have a better line since you pick up the Claymore. This guard you're going to want to punch kick with your AK out. That part is important. You can knock him out instantly with just 1 PPK because your AK is out. If you do it with any other weapon, that's not going to happen on normal. You want your AK there to do a punch kick. Then grab the PSG-1 and leave after that. Here you're just going to hug the south wall, that way you don't get spotted by those 2 guards there. And then just be on your way. More cartwheels. Not much to do here. And then same thing, more cartwheels. And then we're coming up on the Shell 1-2 connecting bridge, sensors, and Harrier. And finally, I'll be demoing the safer version of the exit. Same thing here. Go to the elevator. Kill this guard. You can kill him early like that if you want, or just wait till the elevator doors open. Equip to our Socom. hug this wall, but we're not going to go to the other wall this time. We're going to go to about right here. Take out this guard, kill those 2 guards, and then just exit. And then everything else is the same as exiting with the risky exit. Alright, so now we're at the part where we're going to shoot out these Semtech sensors. For the longest time, this part was kind of overlooked. It wasn't real optimized. It was just kind of like, okay, do whatever to get the sensors done. It doesn't matter. There is a particular order you want to do the sensors in, and I'm going to demonstrate that now. So you're going to grab the Pentasmin. You're going to stand right here. It'll give you an optimal position to hit most of the sensors. Equip your PSG-1. Go to your Pentaz, use 1, and then you're going to get the Cipher sensor first. And then we're going to unequip, re-equip. It resets our zoom, and it resets our level. It's a lot faster than just zooming out and readjusting. Hit this one. Hit the wall. That way the birds go away. Hit. 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 Get the one behind the flag. Hit this one. Hit this one. Hit this one. Menu back to our Socom. Hit this last one. And that's all 10. So that's pretty much the optimized order to do the Cipher sensors on normal. There's a total of 10. Every difficulty has a different number. But you want to get that Cipher sensor first. And you don't want to shoot that Cipher when it has an active sensor. Otherwise, you will blow the bridge up. Harrier. Harrier can get really complicated. I'm going to explain 3 different setups. There's other setups, other variations you can do, but I'm going to just explain 3. You have your Socom on your previous, so for all these setups, you're going to tap R2 at the start of the fight, get to your Socom, pick up the Stinger, immediately equip to the Stinger, and then I'm going to show you a 4-shot Harrier, a 5-shot Harrier, and a 5+1 Harrier where we get a 5-shot and then an extra shot in. So I'll do 4-shot first. 1, 2, 3, just turn around, get the 4th, and that's it. Depending on the amount of damage you do, he can do one of 2 things. He can go way away and then come back at you shooting his machine gun, or he can just do a lap and then he can immediately go to the die shots. We didn't inflict enough damage, so he's going to go far away, shoot machine gun shots at us, get 1 shot off there, wait for him to come back, shoot 1 more, and then get ready for our die shots. So you're going to want to aim your Stinger right about here. When you see the missiles start to fall, press X, fire, get the lock on, fire again, go over the railing, that way you have iframes, see which way he goes, come over here, we're going to shoot, you could hit the Kasatka like that. So, one big thing with this fight is the Kasatka tends to get in the way, and that's a perfect example of when the Kasatka gets in the way. It's a lot more critical on the higher difficulties if the Kasatka gets in the way and you hit it. On here, it's not that big of a deal, it's just going to slow down the fight, you'll take a little bit of damage. Now, what I did right there before those missiles came in is I did a pop-out shot. If you do a pop-out shot by pressing yourself up against the wall and then pressing your weapon button, you do a pop-out shot. It gives you iframes, so, or invincibility frames. So you do that before the missiles come in. When the missiles come in, they don't do any damage. Equip back. Try to get 2 shots off here. Try to get an extra shot off here. Run and get this Stinger ammo. 1 shot, and then we're going to do pop-out shots if you didn't do enough damage. We did enough damage to end the fight right there, but if you didn't do enough damage to end the fight, you would do pop-out shots until missile phase was over, where he spammed a bunch of missiles in your face. When the missiles end, you would just shoot your shots to end the fight. If the fight goes beyond that, then it can get real tricky, real randomized. He can go into a machine gun phase. He can go back to missile phase. I'm not going to get that deep into what you do in that situation because there's other videos out there for that. But that's basically a 4-shot Harrier, and also the example of hitting the Kasatka. Next will be a 5-shot Harrier. Now for 5-shot Harrier, it's going to be similar to the 4-shot Harrier setup, but we're going to get an extra shot off before we go behind and do our last shot. So Socom, get to the stinger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. If you did it correctly, then you'll be ready for the die shots. Line up your die, get ready for your die shots right here. When you see missiles fall, press X, fire. Fire again. Go over the railing. Make sure he goes this way. He typically goes this way if you get 5-shot, but just make sure. Fire one when you get the lock on. Fire another. Do a pop-out shot. And then just keep hitting them. Grab those stinger ammos, because you'll need that. And then, again, if you don't do enough damage, you do pop-out shots on that missile phase until you end the fight. Ideally, you want to end the fight early like that. And then the last thing I'll do is a 5+1 Harrier, where we get an extra shot off after the 5 shots, but before the die shots. So again, same thing as a 5-shot setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing I'll point out, I had trouble getting that 5th shot to lock on for quite a while when I was learning 5-shot Harrier. My biggest tip to you is if you're going for 5-shot Harrier, for that 5th shot, getting the lock on is the most important thing. When you get the lock on, unequip. The stinger will usually do the rest for you. So the 5th shot will hit. Okay. The Kasatka cutscene is coming up where he says, use this. You're going to want to mash X so you skip that as fast as you can. And then get ready for this 6th shot. Basically, you have to skip the cutscene as fast as possible. Get a lock on the Harrier as he's going around the strut. Fire. And then you'll get in position for your die shots, but you'll get an extra shot off, hence the +1. So just like that, you mash X, you aim kind of at the northeast, if you will, towards the strut that's off to the northeast. You make sure you get the lock on, and then fire. The timing is a little strict. It's a little easier if you're using the widescreen fix or on like a modern version like the PC port or HD collection, stuff like that. If you're trying to do it on PS2 versions, it can be a little tricky. And then basically you just aim up where I'm aiming right now for your die shots. Press X. 1, 2, go over the railing. He should go this way. Yep. Gonna deal some more damage here. 1 shot here. 1 shot here. Pop-out shot. You can do an extra shot as he's flying over like this. As soon as you do your pop-out shot, you re-equip the stinger and kind of aim up and fire. There is a small risk to that, to where you could blow yourself up, and you wouldn't die in this case. On higher difficulties, you could. You just kind of aim up, and as he's flying over, a shot will hit. So that one I didn't get. And this is an example of what I mean with the pop-out shots. You just do this until the missile phase ends, and then you can finish the Harrier. I'll do one more example of Harrier, and it would be an ideal 5+1 where you don't miss any shots or you miss maybe one shot. I won't explain like I do throughout the fight. I'll just do it and show you what the perfect Harrier looks like. So this is what an ideal Harrier looks like.
You go out in style.
Yeah, see how early the fight can end if you get the ideal Harrier. That's the advantage of getting that extra +1 shot, is you could have one less shot and potentially save 5, 6, 8 seconds before he gets to his missile phase. Alright, so now that we're done with the Harrier, we can do this one of two ways. We can do what's called a leap of faith, where we do a cartwheel and land over there. Or we can do a cartwheel and land onto this pipe. If you choose to do the pipe route, it's no slower than doing the leap of faith. But the only risk is if your movement isn't crisp, then you're going to slip on this bird crap, and you're going to fall off and take a continue. 99% of people do the leap of faith. Sometimes I'll just go this way just for fun, but I'll demo both real quick. So leap of faith, pretty simple. You're going to cartwheel at the edge. You're going to do menus while in midair. You're going to go to the chaff grenade, and then you're going to equip your BDU. You'll need both for this next section. Cartwheel up here, grab the PSG-1 ammo, and be on your way. The other way is going right onto the pipe. So at this line right here, you're going to do a hard right, and then just cartwheel. Be careful with your movement. Get up onto here like this, and be on your way. Now, this next part is going to involve a mini cutscene. There's a little bit of a different color on some of these floor panels. So these two panels, and those two far panels are slightly different colors. Those panels are going to fall, and if you hit one of those panels with your feet, it's going to trigger a mini cutscene. However, if you start cartwheeling at this second line right here, so you have your start, you have your first line, and then your second line, and then if you keep cartwheeling, the panels will fall, but you'll never actually touch them, thus skipping the mini cutscene. So I'll equip my BDU and my chaff, since you should have them on at this point. Cartwheel. See, that's the mini cutscene I'm talking about. If you touch one of those panels, that little mini cutscene will happen, and you'll have to press X to skip it. It's not a big deal if you get that cutscene. It just saves a tiny bit of time if you are able to skip it. So once we get past those panels, hang over the rail, press X. Press X immediately to skip that cutscene. Do cartwheels, hang over this edge, and then you can just hold R2 to shimmy across. You want to skip that cutscene as fast as possible, because if you don't and your timing is off, then you will get an alert. Those guards will see you. And then I just cartwheeled onto that ladder and pressed triangle mid cartwheel, and then I was able to get onto the ladder without being flat-footed. Now, this part, you're going to want to throw a chaff grenade immediately. You're going to want to cartwheel at a certain point. You'll get an alert, but then the chaff grenade will go off, and it won't matter. It's faster than just trying to evade the guards or knocking on the wall on this difficulty. On higher difficulties, you're going to want to evade the guards, knock, that way you don't get the alert. But since we have two chaff grenades here, we're going to use them both in this area. So throw the chaff grenade. Cartwheel right here. You may or may not get shot there. And then we're just going to keep pressing our R2 button. That way we can shimmy across this little ledge faster. at some point you're going to want to unequip the BDU. For whatever reason, when you get into the Shell 2 core, it slows down the loads. We don't know why this happens, but make sure you unequip the BDU before you go in the core. Throw our last chaff grenade right here. Cartwheel over the gap. Cartwheel over this gap. And then there are a bunch of ciphers around here that you're evading because you used this chaff grenade. And now we're in the Shell 2 core. We're going to mash X. We're going to hold left. That way our directional microphone faces where we need to go. And at the end of this cutscene, we're going to be facing towards the stairs. It's a very minor optimization to do this. Because normally if you don't turn the D mic, you're going to be facing this way and then you'll have to turn like this. But since we're turning the D mic in the cutscene, we're already facing this way. And then we can just go this way. It's a frame saver. It doesn't really do much. So now we're going to go to B1 of the Shell 1 core and go get the Nikita. That way we can do the President section. Elevators, you're always going to want to double tap or press the button twice. That way the elevator comes faster. Sometimes it can come in one cycle, but it's not likely. And again, just press up on each elevator and you'll be at the floor you need to be. Now you're going to get in the water here. As soon as you get in the water, you're going to hold select to answer a codec call. And then here, I just use D-pad. I don't even go up or down, because this pushes me down. And I just do left and right. I don't use analog or anything here. Flick the right analog stick down, that way you can turn like that. Make sure you don't hit that mine. If you do, it's not the end of the world on normal. And again, I'm not using up or down on the D-pad at all until I get to here. So I'm going to cartwheel, equip my D-mic, but then switch to Nikita, switch to Stinger, unequip, and then get to the elevator. So you want Stinger and Nikita on your two menus. So the fastest method to get to the circuit panel is to go in this room. You're going to fire Stinger, take out just this one camera, get on the box, press up on the D-pad, and then fire the Nikita.
What are you doing?
Make sure you don't hit the president, and then take out the circuit panel. You can also do it from right here by getting on top of this box and going in this vent right here, but it is about 2 or 3 seconds slower if you navigate through the vent panel, and it is a little more risky since you're going to be on an unfavorable line with the president, and you're more likely to hit him. Cartwheel into here and skip a bunch of codecs and cutscenes. And cartwheel there, that way you get to the door a little bit quicker. And again, more codecs, more cutscenes. This is a pretty boring area that you're just going to be doing a bunch of skipping. So you should have Socom and then Stinger on previous for the Vamp section. You can do a lethal method or a non-lethal method. The non-lethal method applies mostly if you have the M9, but you don't have to have the M9 if you want to do non-lethal. It is maybe 20-30 seconds slower. But I would highly advise the lethal method if you're doing the M9-less route. But before we get to that, there's a glitch you can do here called Swim Glitch. I'm going to insert somebody else's clip here because, frankly, I am garbage at Swim Glitch. So at this point, I'm going to be inserting Tyler 2022's video of swim glitch here. It'll kind of go through the basics on how to do swim glitch and stuff like that. So enjoy this little clip, and then we'll get back to how you would do this section normally.
This first clip is a standard example of what a successful swim glitch should look like. For the start, you want to go towards the ceiling to line up with the wall using R1. From here, we swim at this specific corner. It is very important to not slide over to the other side with the stairs. You can see in my controller cam the speed that I am pressing circle, then left on the D-pad. Once you reach a good enough height, use the wall for the final slide up, and now you are out of bounds. From here, swim towards the vamp door. The camera will start to act strange, but it will straighten out once we get closer to the door. Once you get close to the vamp door, we want to swim down a little to go back into the water, and then come up right at the edge of the load zone. This particular attempt is fairly close to the edge of the load zone, and is probably the closest you can get to it. Overall, the swim glitch will save you about 15 to 25 seconds on the HD collection, depending on your execution. The execution of doing the glitch is very similar on PC, although for me personally, I find it a bit harder. And due to the load times of PC, the window for mistakes is much smaller. So overall, I'd suggest doing this glitch more so on HD collection than on PC. And hopefully with my input shown here, you can get a better idea on how to do the glitch itself.
So if you don't want to do swim glitch, which honestly you really don't need, especially on the PC version, this is essentially what you do. Go down here like this, and you're just going to take a swim. Press circle immediately, and again, I'm not pressing up or down, I'm just pressing left and right. Try to hug the walls, avoid the mines, and if you don't press up or down, these mines aren't going to come into play at all. You're just going to be in a perfect position to avoid them. When you get close to the door, just smash triangle, and then Raiden will automatically get to the door. Now, right here, if you had a bad Harrier fight, you can go to the right and go to the floor to pick up extra stinger ammo if you need it, which I'll show you real quick. So you'd pick up the stinger ammo right here and then head towards the door. Again, that's only if you are low on ammo from the Harrier fight. Press select here to answer a codec call. And then like I said before, you can do this one of two ways. You can do the stinger method, which is the fastest way. Or you can do the non-lethal route, which is going to just involve a series of punches. I would demonstrate the lethal route now. Basically, you're just going to hit 10 stingers in succession at the water. So the timing can be a little tricky for that. My visual cue is usually when Vamp's life gauge is going down, when it's in the red. When it's midway through that is when I fire. That's more applicable to PS3 where there's more lag, and that's one other thing I didn't touch on. If you're playing on PS3, you're going to have lag at Harrier, Vamp, and at Raise. You're still going to do everything the same, it just lag is going to slow things down a bit, and here would be a prime example, which I'll throw in a clip here just to kind of demonstrate the lag. But basically, you just would compensate for the lag by looking at Vamp's life gauge. And when it's about halfway down, you just fire your next stinger. PC version, you're just going to kind of do it in succession. I mean, you can look at the life gauge if you want, but if you just do boom, 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 10 in succession, that's probably going to be a better idea to do on PC. So I'll throw in the clip with the lag demonstration real quick, and then I will demonstrate non-lethal. So I'm going to do the non-lethal Vamp here. If you have the M9, what you're going to do is you're going to shoot him in the head, and then he's going to go in the water, and then you would shoot 2 stingers. If you didn't pick up the M9, I'm just going to shoot him with the Socom, even though it's not going to do the damage I want. Shoot 2 stingers at the water, and then hang off. So do 2 punches here to hang over the railing like this, or hang over the floor like this. Wait for him to come towards you. When he starts to swipe at you, that's when you get up. Do a couple punches, get away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can do double punches. And if you're too far away like that, that's when he can get away and go back in the water and really slow down the fight. If that happens, then you just do more stingers into the water, get back into position, and then rinse and reset. When you do your punches, ideally you're going to want to get at least 6 punches in before he tries to attack you with his knife again. You can do 7, 8, you can do 9, but that's incredibly risky. Otherwise you'll take damage. I try to get 6 in, and you can do either single punches or double punches. I would highly advise double punches, because single punches you're only going to get probably 3 or 4 in. If you're just starting out, it's not a big deal, but again, for normal, I don't recommend this method at all. I'm just showing it just for informational purposes. So he can go this way or this way, depending. He went this way this time. When he swipes at you, get up. Do a couple punches, reset and get in position. And then that's pretty much the fight. If you do that in one cycle without him going in the water, it's, like I said, around 20-25 seconds or so slower than just using the stinger method. You're going to want to do that method on higher difficulties, but for normal, I would highly advise the stinger method. So post-vamp is going to be a pretty boring, pretty chill part of the run. Not going to be a whole lot of variance here. I just pick up this AK ammo for safety. And then we're going to swim to Emma. And again, if you're not using up or down until you get to here, you can not worry about those mines at all. So I'm going to do a cartwheel right here, and then I'm going to menu to the AK as I'm mid cartwheel. You'll need it for later. So you'll need the AK for when we get to the first floor of Shell 2 Core, and that's arguably the best place to do it. To do that menu is there. So now we're going to swim with Emma. We're just going to basically swim back the way we came. Here you can just run to the door. You don't need to take her with you. She'll automatically come. Mash X to get through cutscenes. Triangle to get through codex. Plenty more cutscenes and codex coming. They never end. So we're going to hold triangle, grab her, and guide her along. Now here you'll have to go up and down a little bit. These mines coming up, you're going to have to be a little precise. I tend to get towards the top of the door right here, and then it does everything else for me. That way I don't hit the mines. You can go under this mine, or you can go around the mine like that. Whichever you prefer. And as long as Emma's life gauge doesn't go below the A in her name, then you're fine. If it goes below the A in her name, then she can kind of rest and crouch and make things slower for you. So you want to make sure that it doesn't go below the A in her name. Drag her over to about right here. Press the elevator button twice, then we're going to choke her. That way we don't have to do anything with those bugs, because Emma hates bugs. As soon as the camera changes, you can just go to the elevator panel and go to the first floor. Now we're going to drag her along right here. We're going to go at an angle like this. That way we can just completely avoid this guard. The timing's a little tight to avoid this guard, but as long as you don't bump into too much and go at an angle like that, then you'll be fine. You don't have to do anything to that guard. Kill those 2 guards, just like that, and be on your way. You want to be up far enough that way no other guards hear that. But if you do it just like that, then you're fine. Come around here. Your movement is a little tight in order to avoid that guard. You can take out that guard if you want, or you can just go around him like that. This next little part is called the Emma bump. I recommend it for PC because I've never personally softlocked the game doing this. I don't recommend this for HD collection, and for PlayStation 2, I'm kind of unsure about it. I sometimes do it, I sometimes don't. So I can't really speak to the consistency of PS2. If you bump her as you're leaving the room, which I'll demonstrate here, then you can save about 2 or 3 seconds on the next room because she'll be farther forward than what you would normally, where she would normally be. The risk is if you do the bump incorrectly, she'll fall through the level in the next room, basically into the water, and that's it. You have to reset. You cannot find her in any other place. You have to reset your entire run. So it is a little bit of a risk. But if you do the bump like I'm about to do it, then it should be very minimal risk. Again, only on PC. HD collection, I definitely do not advise this just because I have softlocked more often than not. And again, for PS2, I don't know since I don't do the bump that often. And I haven't really done that many runs on PS2 to begin with. So basically, we're just going to drag her along like this. Let go, and then just bump her out like that. Normally, we'd be dragging her out like this, but since we have her bumped like that, she'll be a little farther forward. Grab those chaff grenades, because we'll need them for right now. Wait till we're about right here at this line. Throw a chaff. And then the 2 ciphers won't see us. We're going to then equip to our coolant and put out a fire. When the phone rings, I stop. After the second ring happens, that's when I know to stop putting the fire out. And as long as you point the coolant to where I did and not move it up and down, then you'll put the fire out the fastest. The other thing I'll point out is if you leave Emma right here and then go towards the door, you don't need to drag her towards the door. That's about the earliest you can let her go. So here we're going to kill these 2 guards. We're going to get to about right here, equip our AK, and then just kind of spam and kill them in first person. Open this hatch coming up. Drag her in the room, and then we're going to do the sniping section. So there's not really much to go on here. You can do things in different orders. You can take out guards in different orders. I'm just going to show you the method on how I do this section. It's a pretty efficient method, and it also cuts down on the menus with the pentazamine. So right here, I'm going to go to the thermal goggles. I'm going to take 3 pentaz because if you take multiple pentazamines, they stack. They're worth 30 seconds apiece. If you take 3, then your aim will be steady for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Take 3, go to the thermals, go to the PSG1, and then we're going to take out these Claymore mines. So 1, 2, 3, and then I take out the 5th because it gets the 4th on its own. Kill this guard. Take out that cipher, get that guard, and then we're going to get these 2 mines here. And then if I have time, I'll take out this cipher. Now, one other thing I'm going to point out is the thermal goggle color. On the Sons of Liberty PS2 version, you have red thermal goggles. On PC port, if you set your model quality to low, you'll get the red thermals. Otherwise, on every other version of the game, you'll have real thermals or colorful thermals, so you'll see real temperature colors. So if you're on the PC port and like the red thermals, just set your model quality to low if you have VSFix. Or even if you don't, I think it still works that way. And you'll have red thermals. So you'll have one guard come out here. One guard here. And then one guard here. And then just address any ciphers. Three bullets to take down a cipher unless you hit the gun directly, then it's just one, like this. You can glance and make sure you got all the thermal or the Claymore mines. And then that's it. Once you're at 20 on your PSG-1 ammo, you can come and get more ammo. You're going to want to stand right here until Emma's past this first little section, because if you stand here and try to aim over here, there is a greater chance she can fall. And that loses about 7 seconds. So once she climbs up to here like this, you can stand where the ammo would spawn. And then every time you get down to 20, it'll just give you another 20. So kill another guard here. And then you have more ciphers to deal with. And notice how I'm not taking any pentaz. And then this ammo over here is for the PSG-1T. If you pick it up, for normal, I really don't recommend that. Unless you're going for rank 1. For higher difficulties, yeah, you're probably going to want to pick it up if you're going for Big Boss. And if you want to refill your ammo, like I said, just get it down to 20, and then it'll give you another pack. This codec, you don't have to answer frame perfect. Emma's still going to move. It doesn't matter. You can enter it early, you cannot. So when Emma's in the middle right here, I get my gun out. Right about here is when I'll take my last pentaz and then get ready to kill these guards. 1. 2, 3. One cipher here. And then I'll come over here, pick up this pentaz, quick equip it. Since that was the last thing I had on. And then just kind of look around and make sure you got everything. There'll be one more guard to take out. After she gets up and gets around this next pillar. Couple more ciphers. And again, I'm not taking the pentaz because I'm going to take it one more time. It just saves on menus. So if you need to spam bullets to take out enemies or ciphers, go right ahead, especially if you are standing on where you would have the ammo spawn at. Should be one more cipher, and then that's going to be it before the Vamp 2 fight. Now before the Vamp 2 fight, I'm going to want my ammo full. Or to 40, I should say. So make sure you waste the bullets, enough bullets to where you get to 40. If that ammo box spawns during the Vamp 2 fight, it is not going to be fun. The trigger for the Vamp 2 fight is basically right around here. Before Emma gets to there, you're going to want to pop 1, maybe 2 Pentaz. I just do it really quickly, so sometimes I pop them more than a couple. So I did 3 right there, because it'll carry over to the Vamp 2 fight. Now, you can either zoom in, hit his leg a bunch of times and it ends the fight, or a more advanced approach is just to press D-pad once and then just spam and fire. You'll probably hit Emma a couple of times. It is a little tricky to do. So I'm just going to demo the easy situation, and then I'll come back and demo the faster situation. So I zoomed in all the way. I'm going to aim at the leg, and then just fire. So next I'll do the quicker approach. So normally you just tap left once, and then just do that. So sometimes you'll shoot Emma more than once, sometimes you won't shoot her at all. So post Vamp 2, there's not going to be a whole lot to do. We're just going to open this door. We're going to do a cartwheel. We're going to menu. We'll have our PSG1 on our previous already. So we'll just equip it midair. Go to our chaff. And then just be on our way. Throw the chaff immediately. I do a 1-punch buffer here and then hug this wall. That way I don't get shot. And then you're going to cartwheel depending on how you left the floor here. When you left Shell 1 core. And then we're just going to go to the elevator, and then we're going to be into Arsenal gear. We're going to be starting to get into endgame. You can cartwheel in this elevator to be a little bit quicker. Another save prompt coming up, so I'm just going to mash circle the entire time. Switch to X to get through that cutscene, and then we are in the torture room.
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jack the Ripper? You know this fellow? You remember me, don't you? You've grown.
Don't need to do anything here. You don't need to mash triangle or hold your breath or anything. Just put down your controller, take a breather, go to the bathroom, whatever. Codec 1, skip a cutscene. Codec 2, skip a cutscene.
Olga, you can't keep this up. They're bound to find you.
Listen, I'll free you in a little while. Brace yourself.
So here we're going to immediately call Rose. Rose will eventually call you if you wait, but if you call her first, then you'll be able to get out of this quicker. So we're going to call her. I'm going to mash circle, and then press triangle after I get past the save prompt. Exit the codec, and then we're released. It just expedites this process. So we're going to go to Jejunum. You can do this one of 2 ways. I'll demonstrate both ways now. But no matter what, as soon as you enter this room, you're going to want to hold select and skip this codec. Both ways are going to start like this. You're going to get up these flight of stairs, and then when Raiden's leg touches the first stair, you're going to answer another codec call. And then this is where the differences are going to vary. You can take the safe route, or you can take the risky route. The risky route, it involves a couple of cartwheels, cartwheeling to a guard, cartwheeling over the gap, which you're going to do no matter what. And then you're going to get shot a couple of times and hope you don't get kicked. All in all, it's going to save about 4 or 5 seconds. So I'll demonstrate the risky route now. 1 cartwheel. Cartwheel into this guard. Cartwheel over the gap.
I have him. I need some backup here.
You'll get the alert. get shot again, and then get past him. So next I'll demonstrate the other method. So this will be the safer method. Same thing, answer the codec call, do one cartwheel. Try to answer this call as fast as you can, but it's not as critical with this method. But you're basically going to do the extreme European extreme route. You're going to go around like this, hug the wall, that way you don't get seen by the camera. Cartwheel over the gap, and then just keep doing cartwheels. Don't get seen by this camera. Cartwheel into this guard. And it's pretty safe. Again, loses about 4 or 5 seconds, but it is pretty safe. Hold select as soon as you get into this room to answer the codec call. You'll be answering 6 total codec calls. So this will be number 2. 3. And then you'll have a girl appear on your radar. 4. And after the 5th, you're going to hold select and you'll answer the 6th immediately, which will be Rose. So just hold select after this, and then you'll get Rose. Let's get more cutscenes. Skip this codec. Skip a cutscene. And then swipe your blade immediately. So it's very important to swipe your blade as soon as you can, because there's going to be a 45-second timer once you swipe the blade. If you don't swipe the blade, then you cannot progress in this room. And then another important note for this room is where Raiden is standing, you're going to want to be north of where he initially starts. If you're in this south area at all, when the 45 seconds is up, you will not progress until you get back to this area. So it's very important to stand in this area. I would say the whole time. You can mess with Snake a little bit if you want, but you're going to want to be here or north when the 45 seconds is up. So just swipe once and mess around for 45 seconds. So the Tengu 1 fight is coming up. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can do this with stun grenades or with the AK. I personally like to do stun grenades. Some people like to do the AK. So I'll do the stun grenade method now. So we're going to get our stun grenade out. Throw 1 here. Just keep going forward. Then we're going to throw our second one here. And then this is a prime example of if you're too close to a guard, when you first person, the auto aim will just adjust to that guard, and it's going to screw up this little skip here. So if that happens, then you're going to have to start killing guards or get farther away from guards. But that skips the Tengu 1 fight. So I'll demo that, how it should be without having to address the other guards, and then I'll demo it with the AK as well. So this is how it should look like proper. Throw your stun here, make sure it's towards the middle. And then that's the skip. Now what I'm doing is doing a PPK at the door. And then you can, when Raiden is basically doing his kick spin, you can either let go and press up or just let go and then it'll get into the room for you. I tend to just press up just for whatever reason as that's happening. I don't know if you need to press up or not. But that's basically how the skip works. You just basically get flat towards a wall, punch, punch, kick, and then it'll skip into the next room. You can't do that in all areas. In some areas, you'll actually soft lock the game if you try to do that, specifically like Shell 1-2 connecting bridge, you can do that at that door, but if you don't have the right level card at that time, it'll just soft lock the game. So the final method I will do is with the AK. So with the AK, we're going to cartwheel, menu to our AK, and then we're just going to kill guards. The problem is you get shot a bunch of times. And then you have this to deal with if a guard is too close to you. But that would be the method with the AK. Again, I don't recommend it personally. I tend to do stun grenades, but you do whatever you're comfortable with. Tengu 2, you're just going to be fighting traditionally. You're just going to be trying to kill guards as fast as you can. Here, I recommend the Stinger method if you're on PC or Xbox One or even Nvidia Shield because it's all lagless. If you're on lag, which is PS3, I would recommend using AK and then the Blade. So I'll demo the Stinger method and then I'll demo AK/Blade. I cartwheel here, menu to my Stinger, and then unequip. That way it's ready for the fight. And then there's no... And that can happen too during this fight, is a Tengu can just get into you like that. But we haven't found a consistent way to get all these Tengus as they come down. You just kind of got to aim like this. Wait till they're starting to come out and then hope you hit. This fight can be very inconsistent. And then they can also wait to come out like that, which can just make the fight extremely slow. And then, like I said, Tengu's can occasionally bump into you and just completely reset your position as well, and unequip your stingers like this. On very easy, this isn't as relevant, but on normal, for whatever reason, it is very relevant. It comes up quite a bit. And you want to make sure you have your rations on for this fight, because you're going to be taking a lot of damage. And you want to make sure you don't hit Snake either, because that's just going to result in more time loss. And that's the fight. So the average time for this fight is about 1 minute and 30 seconds. But it can go longer or shorter depending on what you do. So I will demonstrate the AK method / the Blade method now. Alright, so here's the AK/Blade method of doing this. This is what I would advise if you're on PS3. Or even PS2 because of lag. When you run out of AK ammo, you're just going to switch to your blade. You want to try not to get knocked down either, because that's just more time loss. And I try to stay in this one area. That way I'm not moving around too much. Now, another thing of note, when your health gets low like this, when I'm into bleeding or close to bleeding, Snake will then switch to the M4. The M4 makes the fight go faster, so you may want to have your health low when you get into this fight for normal. You definitely do for the higher difficulties, but for normal, I don't really pay attention to that as much. So it may be a decent idea to get your health down before this fight starts if you're going to end up doing the AK slash blade method, but you don't have to. Here I just heal. And then if I'm low on stinger ammo would appear on the corners here, and then you just pick all this up. So, the Ray fight. Ray fight can be very technical. It's not as complicated on normal as it is on higher difficulties. I'm going to demonstrate 2 ways of doing this with a safer, more traditional intro. And then I'm going to demonstrate it with a more risky intro, which isn't that bad on normal, but it is pretty bad on European Extreme and difficulties like that. Both are going to involve a loop, where we just basically stand in one area and do a specific pattern to hit all the rays. There are other ways to do this fight if it gets out of the loop. I'm not going to demonstrate that because there are so many variables if you don't get the loop correct. At that point, you basically just hit them and just try to end the fight as fast as you can. You just address the rays that are away from you first, address the rays that are close to you, and just it's kind of a free-for-all after that. So what I'll demonstrate first is the traditional intro. We're just going to cartwheel forward, equip our stinger, and then do a series of shots. So cartwheel forward, hit the leg, mouth, leg, mouth, and this is another place where lag would come into play on PS3, PS2. I probably won't put in a clip of that, just because I already put in a demo of the lag at the Vamp 1 fight. So you would have to compensate for lag a little bit on PS3, but the fight is the same shots, same way you do the shots. The fight is the exact same. This I'm doing middle, right, left, middle, right, left, middle, and then I'm doing one headshot to the right and then cartwheeling back. And again, I would advise to have your rations out for this. Cartwheel back like this, that way you don't get stomped on. Go over here, that way you don't get hit by the water cannon. If the guard that's in yellow, or the ray that's in yellow, basically straight away to the left a little bit, fires rockets, you're going to want to head over to the right, and you're going to want to get past where the ammo box would be. Because then if you don't go far enough to the right, then you're going to get knocked down. Sometimes he'll fire rockets, sometimes he won't. So go to about right here. Address this ray. And then this one will come on stage. Go to the ammo box. You're going to hit this one, delay, and then kill this one. It'll give time for this one to come. So you want to delay the final shot on AO3 as much as you can, and then deliver the final blow. You'll do a leg headshot on AO4. You'll do a single headshot on AO5. Leg head again. Leg head here. Leg, slight delay, head. Leg, head, and then move here where this little dot is. Deliver the last blow to this one. Make sure you do BO1, the one I just shot at first, and then kill the other ray that's to my right. If you don't do it in that order, it's going to throw everything off. Come to the ammo box. Come back to your spot. And then just do everything in this order. You can fire too early and not hit like that. So you want to anticipate your shots. And that's the fight. So it's 7 health bars worth of rays to end that fight. So it's not 7 rays. So if you do 7 full health bars worth of damage, it'll end the fight. But that's basically how you do it if it's a traditional setup. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with a little bit riskier of a setup that'll save anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds depending if you're on a lag version or not. So this is the more risky approach. What you're going to do here is you're going to go forward and immediately equip the stinger as you're going forward. You'll fire a shot at the first ray in the center. Hopefully it'll be a critical shot or an open mouth shot. If it's not that big of a deal. And then you'll address the left ray, which should be an open mouth shot. Move forward a little, unequip, move forward a little bit, and then you're going to address the right ray and get a headshot off. Move forward some more, and then you'll do a leg shot, headshot to the middle one, a leg shot, headshot to the left one, leg, head to the right, leg, head to the middle, leg shot, delay until the middle ray is coming on stage, and then you'll deliver the headshot to the left ray, cartwheel forward, and then address the ray that came on stage. So it's kind of hard to do that as I'm going along the fight, so I'm just explaining it now, and I'll demo that what I just said right now. Okay, so now the middle one is coming on stage. Now, depending if you got a critical hit or an open mouth hit at the very start, your very first shot, you either need to shoot him in the leg and then shoot him in the head so you get your last critical shot, or you just shoot him in the head here. Since I got the critical shot, I'm just going to shoot him in the head, address the ray that a missile is currently flying towards right now, and do a leg headshot. And then the other ray on the other side of the stage will come on stage. Now, you can do leg head like I said, or if you're feeling risky, you can do just a headshot here. The risk to doing that is if he does the attack where he's going to fire his machine gun at you, he's going to kind of hide his head, so you won't be able to hit his head. If you're feeling risky, you can just go for the headshot and it'll be a little bit quicker. So this ray will come on stage. We're going to hit him leg head. We'll wait until the hitboxes come back up. And then we'll do leg, delay. And then we'll do a headshot. And then we're just going to go address the rays that are coming close to the stage. And then after that, the fight is just like how you would do in normal circumstances. We delay, that way this ray fight will come, or this ray will come here. Now, one other quirk is, notice how the other ray isn't here yet. Sometimes he can be here already, sometimes he won't. In this case, you're going to want to deal 2 leg headshots to this ray, and then by the time you do that, the other ray should be here, and then you're going to do 1 leg headshot. You'll then do a 3rd leg headshot to this one, a 2nd leg headshot to the other one, and then move away. And we're going to need to address this one twice. So this last one is just going to be a headshot, and then address this one. Now notice how I sometimes have to delay for the head hitboxes, because if you address rays too quickly, their head hitbox won't appear right away. So if you notice it not up right away, kind of delay until it's going to be up. And there is a fair amount of anticipation if you want to do this fight in a fast, efficient manner, because if you fire shots too early and it doesn't hit anything, you're at a good risk of throwing off the loop entirely. So come back here. Kill this and then just go 1, 2 on these. 1, 2, 1, and 2. And then that ends the fight. So that demonstrates both starts, but a couple of different methods during the second phase of the fight. This fight is incredibly complicated. There can be different varieties, different factors on what each ray does depending on what you do what. It would take hours and hours to dissect this fight and show every single method and every single scenario for this fight. Those are 2 common methods. If you have any questions on this particular fight, I don't blame you. Feel free to contact us or join our Discord or something, because this fight can get really complicated. So we're coming up at the last section of the game, but first we're going to endure some torture, so don't save here. We're going to want to mash triangle here, and for normal it's going to be for 15 seconds. Higher difficulties it's for much longer. So I'll show how I do it. I just kind of shake the controller, and then I just mash triangle. So for mashing, I'm not going to get into technicals of mashing. Everybody mashes different. Some people are good, some people aren't. But that's how I do it. I just kind of shake the controller with my right ring finger, kind of, and vibrate my arm, and then I just mash. I mean, I can mash pretty quick naturally, but some people can't. So find whatever's good for you. Use a spoon, use something else, I don't know. So we're coming up with the last part of the game, which is the Solidus fight. You can do this one of 2 ways that I'm gonna demo. You can do a non-lethal method, but it's pretty slow, which I'm not gonna demo that for normal. You're gonna want to do that for higher difficulties, but not for normal. The first method is going to be a little bit easier. We're basically going to do it like how we do on very easy to a degree, where we bait rockets for the first phase, and then hope for people's elbows for the second phase. So you're going to want to punch, block the kick, do 3 swipes, kind of move away, put your guard on, move towards him as he does this. If you're quick enough, he won't block you like that, and you can just get 3 more swipes in. If he does block you, then you just have your guard on, let him kick you, and then do 3 more. And then you can start baiting rockets. So get far away, cartwheel like this, and then you'll cartwheel in between the rockets. Just keep rinsing and repeating until the second phase. So the second phase, you're going to have your guard on by holding L1. When he gets done with this attack, then do 3 swipes. Keep your guard on until he comes to you. If you get people's elbow, then you can do swipes right away. If he attacks you, then you have to wait till the attack is done. And then I kind of look in first person and make sure I'm facing him head on, because if you're looking off to the side a little bit, he can knock you over. So you kind of want to get yourself lined up for when he comes towards you. And then if you miss your swipes like that, then he's just going to block. You have to wait for him to do his kick and then do your swipes. So that's a Solidus fight. If you do it the slower method, I will throw in a clip of somebody else doing the faster method, because I'm not that good at the faster method. It saves about 12 to 15 seconds if you do the faster method, where basically you just put him into a loop where you do 2 swipes on one side, 2 swipes on another side, 2 swipes on another side, 2 swipes on another side, and then that's basically it. So I'll throw in a clip of that right now and then close with some final thoughts. Alright, so that has been the guide for Metal Gear Solid 2 on normal difficulty. Again, this does apply to the PC version and the HD collection. If you run HD collection on PS3, you just have to keep in mind of lag on Harrier, Vamp, and the Ray fight. Otherwise, the run is the same as PC. If you run PS2 Sun Celebrity, there are some minor differences, which, again, I didn't go over in this video, and I'm not going to go over right now, because there's other videos out there for that, and it would take too long to explain those differences. If you have any questions regarding those differences, feel free to check out our website, metalgearspeedrunners.com. Check out our wiki page with all the information on various strategies, guides, and anything about any other game. Feel free to join our Discord as well. You can chat with us one-on-one regarding these games. If you have any questions, need help with something, or just want to come and hang out with us, that's the best place to find us, is at the MGSR Discord, which, again, I'm going to link all that stuff below. And if you have any questions for me, or want to see anything else from me, you think I could explain something better, or you want to see something one-on-one, or have something with a little more in-depth explanation, feel free to reach out to me. I enjoy doing this stuff. If I didn't enjoy doing this stuff, I wouldn't have made this guide. But yeah, that does it for this guide of Metal Gear Solid 2. I hope it was informative, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out.